So we're back. We had to cut it last time because it got so engaging and so exciting. And so today we're going to show you some clips from the last conversation that we recorded with our outspoken people. Yeah, y'all over here. But and we're going to finish the conversation on today. Invite a neighbor, invite a friend, let them know a conversation with the McGhees is on the air, and we're talking about outspoken people. All right, let's go into our clip.
Previously on A Conversation with the McGhees.
My topic today is why are some people just so outspoken? Have you ever had that person that just feel like they just got to say what they got to say? And so I have 3 guests here on today. They don't know what their stage name is. So I'll show you picture number 1, and you can see their stage name. Here's picture number 2, and you can see their stage name. And here's picture number 3. Picture number 3, and you can see their stage name. And so we're going to have a good conversation on today. But today, let me introduce them formally. These are 3 of the most outspoken people I know. Here on today, we have Colette, and then in the middle, we have Maurice, and then we have Jamila. And so I've been knowing all 3 of these people for a long time. And they have a lot of good qualities about them. But one quality that can be good and bad is they have a lot of mouth.
There have been times right here in Free Spirit when I wanted to check some people after service. And the Holy Spirit said, don't say nothing. And I didn't. I was hurt because I couldn't say anything. When I got home, I had a meltdown. I cried and all of this.
So were you crying because you couldn't say it?
I'm crying because the Holy Spirit wouldn't let me say it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Well, I think that I don't think you should speak everything that you feel inside, because everything you feel is not.
Why?
Because one thing, everything you feel inside is not necessarily right.
Okay.
And then you also have to consider the consequences thereof.
We have this thing in the church, and I think you and I have maybe talked about this before. We have this thing in the church where we automatically think just because a person is confrontational that that's a bad thing.
Come on, talk
Confrontation
about it.
in the church is not a bad thing.
No.
Just because I'm confronting you, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to stir up strife or anything like that.
Or you're sinning.
Right.
And this is my other thing, so we may be labeled as outspoken people, right? Okay, fine. But why should you be allowed to dump your verbiage on me?
Come on.
Why should you be allowed to mistreat me and I just sit back and act like, oh, no. And because here's my thing, if I don't tell you what you did hurt me, you may continue on doing it.
Come on.
So that's the reason why I even taught my daughters there's a way to confront without being hurtful. Confrontation is not negative, and I think that's why people don't like outspoken people, because I'm going to confront you on your wrong.
Yeah. Unfair.
But anyway, I just don't feel like that. Now, let's get more to a serious part. So I told you this derived from one of the celebrities making a statement, and the statement ended up causing them to lose their job. Now, and he's not the only one. You have several of them. They're just making all these statements, and they're not. All of the statements are not wrong. You know, in fact, most of them are right. It's about unfairness. It's about inequality. It's about unfair injustice. It's about police brutality. All of them are not wrong. But we still have to remember, this is what I'm talking about. Everything that needs to be said doesn't always have to be said. Hold on. Especially when it's going to lead to your demise.
I mean, I agree with that to some degree, but this is what angers me about the media or celebrities, whatever. We, as people of color, every time we say a truth that's against people that's not our color or not our sexual orientation or whatever, and I'm not saying bashing people, I'm saying a truth. Why every time when we say something of truth, and you shouldn't have said that because that cost your job. Hey, some things, if you're a Christian, the violent take it, what does it say? The kingdom of the God suffers violence, and the violence take it by force. Some things need to be said. And if me saying something against racism and injustice and fairness cost me this job, then I'm gonna believe it's another job. I'm not gonna sit here and stuff in my mouth and let you just be unfair.
Let me challenge you on that. But what about when every job you take is owned by the hierarchy?
Then it's time for me to branch out and get my own thing.
But where you gonna get the money from? The hierarchy.
I mean, and I guess that's.
I believe God is gonna give me a witty way.
I'm just what you call it, being a devil's advocate.
But sometimes in these cases, the person didn't say any. Like, to me, it's foolish if I work for a job and I know what I'm supposed to do or whatever, and then I say something deliberately, I'm just gonna upset the apple cart and I'm just gonna say whatever I wanna say. Now that's a fool.
Right.
But if you're interviewing me right now and by some chance of imagination, I hope nothing I say offends somebody, but I'm not here to get offended. And then you say, well, Colette, you was on the conversation with McGhees yesterday and you said this, that, and that. It cost me job. No, that's injustice. Right. I didn't say anything malicious. I didn't say anything that was untruth. And then we always got to come back the next day. Oh, master, we are sorry. Oh, please give our job back. That's how it looks to me. This is the views express his mind. But that's what I see, like you doing a song and dance. Oh,
she's not a member of my church. She goes to Mary's church.
Okay, but you know, why do we always gotta? I come back to the thing. They say whatever they want to say and never have to come. Dear media, I'm sorry.
And you're true. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But they're the hierarchy, and it don't make it right because they are the hierarchy. Let me just give you all an example. My son Brandon, he lives in Las Vegas now. And so before going to Las Vegas, he was auditioning to play for some churches. And he was auditioning to play for this Caucasian church. They had about 6,000 members. They wanted him. They called him. Everything was all set up. They had a meeting with him, and they was guaranteeing they discussed salary and everything. They saw one thing on his Instagram, and they disagreed. And you know, he's my son. He's like his dad. We ain't gonna say nothing wrong. Holy Spirit. He didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say anything biased. It wasn't no racial slur. They just didn't agree with what he said. And they told him, we can't hire you because your beliefs and your ideals or whatever don't agree with ours.
And that's all.
And I mean, I think that's right. And you have a right to do that, but I also think that is the most pettiest, undermining, subtle, discriminatory situation. How dare you? Yeah. I'm 52. How dare you hire me for a job and then you go back and something I said when I was 22, and then punish me 30 years later for that? That's petty, and that's underlying discrimination.
And it's not Christ-like.
Right. And it's not
Christ-like.
And that's not Christ-like at all. Especially when I didn't get up. Like, I'm on my daughters about what they put out there in their image, but so they're 20 and 21 and 50, 30 years from now, you know, back on Facebook, you said drop it like it's hot, and that's against our what?
Right.
What?
That means that you don't believe in transformation.
Yes, and I use that. I think that was your little slack card because maybe you found somebody else
Right.
for the job.
Right.
Yeah.
That was your
Right.
little slide car
That
because
was the way
maybe
out.
y'all, some of us like it, and then you was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is part. Well, we don't want nobody of this color,
That's
so let's
right.
find a scapegoat.
That's right.
That's what happens to a lot of people in media and situations. And then you like, oh my God, I said something. They did that to a celebrity. I'm not gonna say no name. When they wanted to host a popular show, and they took what that person said out of context.
Yes.
This person is a comedian, and they say that's what comedians do. And then you're gonna use it. Then you should have did all that research before you hired me.
Okay, and all of that's true, and I'm agreeing with you. But it's a very tense time for us in this world right
it
now.
needs to be said,
Especially in the last, 6 months? In the last, it's very tense. And I'm not saying that what he said wasn't right or what he said was wrong, but do you think sometimes we own it, but they own us?
And that's a problem.
In a sense, I'm not saying that there are some African American billionaires out there that may own some of the money that we start our businesses with. So my thing is, do we? Okay, the First Amendment is freedom of speech and religion. Okay, so we don't abide by the amendment. Okay, so do we? Knowing what time we're living in, knowing the probability of what it could cost us, knowing that, or even not knowing that it's going to mean anything, but it turned out to mean everything, do we learn how to filter what we say, or do we just go on and say it, and I'll roll with the punches later?
I think depending on the situation, we absolutely need to filter some things. I think that goes without saying. Like scripture says, again, going back to that scripture, only a fool speaks all his mind. I'm not going to say everything that's on my mind. So yes, in some cases, what we're saying needs to be filtered. In some cases, because of how I respect you or how I love you, I'm going to, again, curve what I'm saying so that it can be palatable for you.
But you know what?
But
Honestly, Americans don't know how blessed we are. We don't know how blessed we are.
True.
Because you couldn't talk about your government leader
True.
the way we do.
True.
Try that in Russia.
Yeah.
Try that in North Korea and see what happens to you.
But see, this is what you say the freedom of speech and the freedom of religion is our amendment right. But then when we say our freedom of speech, then we're wrong. I don't think in a lot of these cases, the thing that the person said, it wasn't said maliciously. It was just said, and you asked me a question, and I told you my honest answer. And then afterwards, I get a backlash for something I didn't even say that was anti-anything. And then when we talk about then if that's the case, people of color would never have no rights. Somebody said, no, it's enough, and people lost their life for us to have the right to vote, for us to live where we want to live, to have jobs and everything. So sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But it's unfortunate that when somebody says their freedom that wasn't malicious, that wasn't anti, that then because as you say, no, then we got to go back and retract what we said for the almighty dollar. Then you realize, okay, money rules the world or whatever. And so I don't think, and in this time,
Whoever had the money rules the world.
yeah, well, whoever had, and so I think, if you just got, I'm gonna there's people get on shows and they gonna say whatever they want to say. That was foolish. But when you just ask me a simple question, well, what do you think about this thing? And you say, but I'm in tomorrow. Oh my God, Maurice, you said, and you can't work here anymore because you said you don't like the color blue, and we gotta have the color blue. Well, he didn't say what he said to be offensive, and it wasn't this, that, and the other.
Right.
It's just that it was something you don't like.
Okay, now let me play the advocate. There have been some Caucasian people that have said some things too, and we want them to resign.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. Let's look at it both ways now, because there are several news anchors recently that was posing under another
Screen name.
identity on social media, and they got caught posting racism, but they were a big-time anchor person, and so we want them to resign for what they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what they
That's
did was
different.
malicious.
Right,
Because
that's different.
they purposely set up another identity so they could spew what they really
they
feel.
really feel.
If I'm a woman enough to say what I'm saying, I'm coming on my Facebook page as Colette Wilson Mims.
That's right.
I'm not finna be under as Kitty
Jane
Cat
Doe, right,
Billy Bob.
right.
You know. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you should be held accountable. You meant to say what you said,
right.
and how you know what you said was wrong.
And
you
you
said,
wanna
let
hide
me go ahead and be under Jane Doe.
So what do
That's
you
right.
feel, Jamila? Do you feel like you should just say whatever you want to say? Do you feel like you should filter what you want to say because of? Okay, and then is that really kissing they behind? Because we got
You
to
know what,
filter.
Bishop? I think we as people are just tired of keeping our mouth shut.
Hello, somebody.
And this new generation, they not walking the street talking about we shall overcome. Right. They not doing it. Okay? They not doing it. They're wreaking havoc. They're marching. As a matter of fact, they're marching all over the world. Not only us, but people of all colors
We have
are
allies.
marching.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
people are just tired. They're fed up, you know? And
Okay, so I made this comment on a conversation that I had with some black brothers. You know, it was Pentecostal Sunday, but it was also Bloody Sunday. You remember the Sunday, the big rise and things like that. And so I made this statement during that time. Do you really feel like we as people don't know how to do what's right without dipping in what's wrong as well?
I don't understand.
Because the protest was about George Floyd, but the protest turned into looting. Doing what was right was the protest. Dipping in what was wrong was the looting, vandalism, breaking into
But it
stores.
wasn't
and
only
stuff.
us.
Okay.
And then
It wasn't only us.
Yes.
And then some of those that weren't our color was right there in the mix.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to hide under a mask, but then when you see that hand, you know, you knew who it was. So it wasn't only us, but we always get the brunt of the punishment. We always get the brunt of it. Like all of these Karens everywhere, getting their behinds kicked, you know, for calling people N-I-G-G-A apostrophe S. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm going to say this.
Oh, God.
And I'm going
Hold
to
on.
say this.
She used to be a member.
And I'm going to
of
say,
Spirit.
and
Now
I'm going
she
to,
goes
and
to
I'm going to
Marie's
say
church.
this.
Whatever
And I'm
church she
going to
goes
say
through,
this.
she go to her church.
I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
We're tired of the white privileged folks. Okay? Let's just
Amen.
keep it real. We're just tired of the white privileged folks. And there are a lot of them. Okay?
Like the one that just got out of jail. What's his name? Stone? That
Trump pardon.
Trump pardon.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. But then the black ministers got together to try to get Kwame Kilpatrick out. You know, not that he didn't do wrong, but he got 28 years. But he didn't do no wronger, if that's a word, than Blagojevich. Correct. Right. You know, so he pardoned. That's the white. She said it's the white privilege.
Well, it is.
It is.
Okay, they said
It is.
what it
It
is.
is.
Okay, all three of them
But
said
the
it.
system is
Yes,
working
it
the
is.
way it was intended to work. The system is working for them. The system
That's
does not
right.
work for us.
And that's facts. I mean,
Right.
that's not for us to be criticized. That's
And it
facts.
not
never
an opinion.
has worked for
That's
us.
right.
facts.
It's not an opinion
It's
at all.
always been against us.
Okay,
Fact.
so another thing that I brought out in our former conversation, in order for there to be any kind of victory, period, somebody had to die. In order for the white people and the black people to be whatever Martin Luther King saw in his dream, he had to die. In order for Jesus to be the propitiation for our sins, he had to die. So I mean, and it wasn't like this stuff wasn't going on with Eric Garner and who was the boy with the hoodie? Trayvon. But it was something about George Floyd. That just,
And the way it was done.
and that just ticked everybody off.
It was the boiling point.
You're right. It really, because
It
it
was the
wasn't no
boiling
worse than
point
all the
because
things
it's
they
been
did.
going on all the time.
Been going on for decades and decades and hundreds of years. But it was like you said, that was just the straw that broke the camel back.
Exactly.
And it came at a time when we're tired. We're tired of the lies that we see in the government. We're tired of everything. We're tired. So that was just a boom. Let's all.
That was it.
I think the reason why this one was different was because it wasn't a gun this time.
Yep.
It wasn't like the cop, oh, I fear for my life, pal, I shoot you, you're dead.
Right.
No, it's me deliberately having my knee on your neck for almost 9 minutes.
It was
and for
9
us to
minutes.
see that play out, like you could have taken your knee off of his neck. You could have, but you chose not to.
Yeah.
You wanted to.
And the unfortunate thing was he knew him.
That's the exactly, and that's the
and
difference.
the cohorts didn't try to stop it.
Correct.
Right. And trust me, because of social media, we're seeing a lot of things. But this has been going. It's thousands of George Floyd.
Oh, okay.
It's thousands of Trayvon Martin.
Okay, because I got it in there. So social media is a good thing, and it's also a bad thing.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, and so my thing is, I brought you all on because you all are very outspoken. You're gonna say what you have to say. Holy Spirit is gonna confront you regardless of what Holy Spirit says. But so we talked about, should we say things, should we filter them? Then let me just ask you this last question. Can your mouth write a check that your behind can cash?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Undoubtedly,
but once my mouth write that check, I'm gonna be ready.
I'm with her on this one.
She said,
I'm gonna be ready
I'm with her
for
on
the
this
end
one.
result, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Once I open my mouth and write that check, I'm ready for the
Big enough.
consequences,
That's
whatever
right.
it is.
That's right. I'm with
Okay.
You invited us.
That's right. I don't think we're not going to throw the rock and hide our hand.
No.
I think, not being not being mean. We're not trying to be mean. We don't want to be hurtful. We don't want to do harm to anyone. But you're going to hear my viewpoint because my feelings are valid.
Exactly.
My feelings are valid.
And I understand that, and I really agree. This is just our opinions, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, no right or wrong. And so my thing is, we're known to have, and maybe the reason we have a lot of mouth is because we're tired of situations, okay? But then our mouth goes from the political arena to the domestic arena.
Because we're not taking no crap.
Boom.
We're not taking no crap.
Boom.
I'm talking about.
We're just not taking no crap.
Not even from your children.
Oh no, for my children.
Definitely not from our kids. I don't care how old they are.
Hello.
Have you ever told them I brought you in this world and I take you out?
No, but I did tell them before I let you say something that I don't like, I'll take you out. No, you're not gonna come. No, you're not gonna disrespect me. I done told my kids. You remember what I told you at the party?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I tell my kids, I'm straightforward with my kids, and I tell them, if you confront me in a disrespectful manner, like, don't come to me toe to toe, because then we gonna, no.
You gonna
no.
fight.
And it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna turn out good for you, baby.
It's gonna be a fight.
It ain't gonna turn out good for you, baby. Don't you,
It's
before you
gonna be a
rise up, before you rise up, I need you to think about it. So I'm finna hand you out some, ooh-wee, you gonna get laid, these hands gonna be laid on
Would you
you.
say you going to hell and I'm going to jail?
What? I'm gonna praise the Lord right from my jail cell before I let you disrespect me. I don't care how old you is.
And how you feel about that, Bishop?
Can your kids confront you?
But, and no, you know why? Because we've raised him that way.
Exactly.
So hold on. Now, I don't only think it's raising, I think it's what your children see you in their home. So my son and my daughter, they've never seen me cuss their mother. They've never seen us go or grab her or fight her. They've never seen any loud yelling, da-da-da-da. One thing that my wife and I had agreed on early on, we would never argue in front of our children. All of our children are in their 30s. Tiff, she moved out last year, but before Tiff moved out, when we had to have a conversation, we said, Tiff, can you leave the room for a minute? And so my kids have the utmost respect for me and their mother because of what they not only were taught, but what they've seen. So when we go to talking about raising is not only telling them what to do, raising is also showing them how it's done. So no, they would not come and stand toe-to-toe with me or their mother.
Mine wouldn't either, but I will serve them a memo just in case. You know, because here's the thing, we can raise our children, but then there's things that my children do, eat, say, that I didn't teach them. I didn't raise them up in a violent scenario. And so they you know, so they may let, so I told my kids, and this is what I would tell you, don't let social media get you trapped up. Don't you let them.
Let me just say this. I'm not saying that my kids are angels. No, I'm not. But what Byron and Brandon, because you know Tiff, she is an angel. But what Byron and Brandon do, they learn outside of our house, but they got sense enough not to do it in front of us.
Yeah.
That's the respect that they have. You know, that they've acted a fool and they've done some things that I've had to grab them with their old self. You know, stand toe to toe. You know, you don't put your hand on no woman. Mm-hmm. I said, I taught you that. You know, raised them like that. And our thing was, I only come get you out of jail once.
Oh, I ain't coming to get you no time.
What?
Unless
they
you
were
were wrongly
boys.
convicted.
Right.
But baby, I'm not coming to get you. This is how I raise mine. I'm not coming to get you 0 times. Now, if you was wrongly accused, I'll be there.
All right, well, again, mine are not angels, but they know what not to call. Not just because I told them, but because I showed them. Mm-hmm. You know, and so, Jamila, have you ever had to come toe-to-toe with any of yours, or they tried to?
Yes.
Okay, and?
She won.
I won.
You already knew the answer to that.
I won.
Okay. So then, you know, I just, one of the reasons I really wanted to do this interview was because I just don't want us to we have to really use wisdom on what to say and what not to say.
And how to say it.
And then you have to think of how much is this gonna cost me? Mm-hmm. And then so like Jamila, she says she don't care about her mouth writing the check. She's gonna be ready. But are all of us ready for the consequences of what we say? You understand what I'm saying? You know, do we have enough resources to tie us over until we get another job if we get fired because of something that we said? I mean, and if you all think about it, it's just any nationality, black or white. It's just amazing. You can go to work, have a wonderful, normal day like you've been doing. All of a sudden, one line could cost you your job. I mean, number one, do you think that's fair? Or should they be given a warning and another opportunity, or what?
Depending on what you said, I mean, again, it just depends on what you said, period. Like, if you're saying something that's kind of flagrant or just kind of out there, then you kind of probably should have known that the consequences would be as such.
Let me just ask you, you two are still working. Is there some type of clause you have to sign when you get hired about statements or saying offensive things or anything? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I didn't. I mean, there's something I had to do in confidentiality because of certain things that I'm privy of or whatever, so that I can't use it for my, personal gain or whatever. And if I'm caught doing it, then I'm going to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And I should be, because I violated, but it wasn't anything about, statements that we can't go on the media. I can't go on the media and talk about my company because I don't have the voice of my media. And even with my sorority, I can't speak on behalf of my sorority. I'm not the spokesperson. You know what I'm saying? So there are times where, if I get on here and say blah 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 and then endorse it under my sorority, I'm gonna be in trouble and fined. You know what I'm saying? And so there are things, there's things you have to sign. And so if I get on here and say I can't get on here, that's why I don't say everything. Well, this is how we feel, and I am a blank blank. Yeah. Then that'll make everybody think that the blank blanks believe what I say.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't a fool.
Yeah, right.
Well,
even if I disagree with, just like I wouldn't say anything against the church. If I disagree with something that's going on in the church, it's my personal opinion. I don't think we should wear white. I think we should wear purple. I'm not going to say that, And even if I feel like I don't speak on behalf of Free Spirit Ministerial Worship Center.
Right.
okay.
You do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a member of, but I can't speak and say Free Spirit stands for, and we're going to I can't do that.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Well, I want to thank all of my guests for coming today. I want to thank Jamila,
Yes.
Maurice, and Colette.
Don't even try.
Mims. Listen, but let me just say this. Would you all agree that before we say everything, the Bible says, that is what the Bible says, let our speech be seasoned with salt, that it may minister grace to the hearer.
Yes.
And so, I just want to encourage all of us, I don't feel like everything that needs to be said always has to be said. There's some things that if you pray about it, God will just let it go. Some things will probably have to wait a while, just depending on what season we're in. I want to encourage all of us, although we're fighting this fight, and we're not going to back down, and we're not going to, just let people walk over us and say and do anything. But we have to be careful. Some things can be said in public, and some things can be said in private. So I want to thank you all for joining us on A Conversation with McGhees. Thank our guests so much. God bless you. See you next time.